Hey there guys, today we are going to do a spread to look into the two presidential nominees, Trump and Clinton. Now some of you might say this is an invasion of privacy, but I would say that pretty much every single aspect of their lives is already being invaded one way or another. So we are just going to do this at the tarot level and see what the cards show for these two presidential nominees. Supposedly the two least liked in any of the previous elections. So the first cards we're drawing for are Donald Trump. 5 cards, and then we shall do Hillary and just see what the situation is for them and the energies around them coming up to that day of November the 8th. So here we go. Donald Trump's. The Magician. 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Swords. 10 of Swords. And the 8 of Cups. Okay. Starts off really well with the Magician card. As we know, that's one of the more positive, illuminating major arcana cards. He has only the one major arcana, 2 swords, coins or pentacles, and a cups. Now the pentacles and the cups have a degree of sorrow in them, and in fact so does the 10 of swords. And the 5 of Swords has a degree of anger and verbal tenacity. Let's go back to the start with the Magician. It is a time of magical potentiality, especially if you can grasp onto it and do the right things to pull in the energies that could take you into places of magical achievement. So he's got this around him now if he does it the right way. But there's a possibility that perhaps he mishandles it, and I think that is his biggest problem. He says and does sometimes the wrong particular in life. So if he handled things in a better way, he would probably have a lot bigger following. If we move to that next card, the 5 of Pentacles, you know, he's been so determined not to release his earnings and his tax income statement for the past few years, that possibly this has got something to do with the releasing of this statement, and that's maybe something comes out about his financial structure. But that card is not generally seen or purported to be a positive one. It is a time of when your finances appear to be less positive or less buoyant, and that they can seem to be taking a downturn. So possibly if he releases his tax statements, maybe that does show to be something where they're not as successful as they have been. But bear in mind, if that's the case, most business people do write off as much as they can to make their businesses appear to be running at a loss so that they pay less tax. There could be a problem with money for him, just generally around his money some way or another, or there could just be some negative perspective or dynamic tied into his money. The next card, the 5 of Swords, is actually not a bad one in the instance of it being in his reading. He would usually be depicted as the person wearing the green tunic in the front position, and it means that there is altercation and argument, and that you are seen to come out winning, and these other people are kind of backing off a little bit. Now if we take this as a timeline energy from sort of now running through to the end here, the 8th of November, it would appear to be around about in between the middle of this time span that we're looking at through to November the 8th. So he has still got some feisty, fiery energies coming up, and he wins debates as well. So it's not all downhill for him. There's definitely ups and downs for Donald. He comes out firing at one point and then he gets hit back again. We come to this card here, the 10 of Swords. It's often known as the end of cycles cards, and that one there looks particularly bleak. We see there's 10 swords stabbed in your back. So there's a feeling of this is utter bereft and kind of coming to the end of a fight or a cycle of something that's just drained your energy so much that you're just feeling completely gazooped, swamped, and left sitting there thinking, oh my God, how can I revive from this? How can I come back from this? So possibly there is something that comes up to hit him unexpectedly. It might be information that is either found out about him, or it's just this perpetual ongoing attacking, attacking from behind, or verbal attacking, or communication of some sort as well, because that's what the swords can also represent. But remember, the 10s being the end of cycles, you do get through this, you do stand up to start another day, and you often start in a new direction with more passion and more information, like a changed person. We come to this end card here and we see it's the 8 of Cups. And there appears to be this ecliptical moon and sun issue thing going on in the background. So possibly the eclipses have had a big part to play in his particular astrological patterns around him at the moment, and whatever pressures might be on him. The 8 of Cups is often known about walking away from something that you have invested your heart and love and passion into, and feeling as though it was unbalanced and that you have just now got to leave. You've just got to walk away and leave it behind, and again you're starting a new journey in a new direction. So if we're taking this to be about the presidential election and is he successful, these cards, the 4 of them, don't appear to show success. They appear to show quite agitated energies and sort of more negative energetic patterns than positive for his particular layout. So, shall we put these ones away and see what we come up with for Hillary Clinton? But actually, before we do that, I might just shuffle one more as an overall, just an overall final card for him. Just see again what the outcome might be. Another 10. So we're definitely talking about ends of cycles, or the ending of a cumulative project or something that he has been doing. This one again suggests that you have been, or he has been, gathering up as much energy and information and people around him and creativity as he possibly can, and that as he moves forward he's feeling it, a weight upon his shoulders, but that he has done particularly well to get where he is. It has been hard work, it has been arduous and ongoing. It's not a card of defeat, but it shows us that it's been particularly hard work to get to this position, and that it's an arduous job. It's very draining. We're definitely getting a lot about it draining his energy, as you could expect. This, to be able to try and turn up day after day and go to these giant meetings and then the debates and be out for the voters. It's a particularly grueling timetable, that's for sure. So okay, we'll put these away because we're not getting any more answers than that. We will now do Hillary Clinton's and see what's going on for her in this last, really it's just over a month, isn't it, if the election is on Tuesday, November the 8th. So this card shuffle is for Hillary. Let's just see what's in store for her here. They don't really want to shuffle very much. They're kind of stuck. Really stiff. Okay. Okay, so here's for Hillary. The 4 of Swords, the Justice card, the 9 of Wands, the Magician reversed, and the 5 of Pentacles reversed. Well, I obviously put those cards back in the deck upside down without thinking about it, but it's really odd that they are his 2 cards that were at the beginning and they've turned up in her reading at the end reversed. So wow, there's like this wild connection between the 2 of them. Their energies are crossing over so intrinsically. So it's a difficult reading really, given that we've got this energy combination tied in from his cards, and that on her they're totally reversed, which I guess kind of makes sense. Maybe she makes the most of this energy that he had by the fact that it's reversed, and it turns itself into a positive for Hillary. That's one way of looking at it. If we start off with her first card on the left, which is the Four of Swords, this is a card that's called the Retreat card, and it's often known as needing to take time out or a rest, or minor surgery. So she's already had this time where she had the supposed pneumonia and was had a little bit of downtime. One would hope that doesn't happen again, because if it does for Hillary, it could be the very end of everything. She needs to now be able to be constantly on board for this last month of very tight timetable scheduling and appearances. So the other thing that card can mean is that you go within and you seek some sort of inner resolve, and you connect with yourself at a slightly more spiritual level. So whether or not she has the capacity to do that, because Hillary is always very much about, you know, the clinical side of life, sort of the more earthly. She doesn't strike me as being a particularly spiritual or philosophical or philanthropic type person. She possibly is, I'm not aware of it. We come to the next card, which is the Justice card, which is her real major arcana, given that we feel that these ones have sort of slipped in from Donald Trump's reading. The Justice card is actually a very good omen for her. It is seen to be, if there are legalities or issues around legal things, they play out in your favour. It's the card of legal documents, contractual obligations, and the signings of various things. So this can be a time when contracts or obligations or documents are signed as well. If there are any legal issues brought up, she could very well favourably, it could go towards her in a positive manner. So that Justice card is also about balance and having equality and leveraging things so that you are making the best of them. So it's a positive card. It's also the card of karma, and I guess you know, she has a bit of karma to deal with, given that she's tried to be the president before and she didn't succeed when Barack Obama did get in. So whether or not there's some karmic energies going on to play in this whole political scene that we're not aware of, that's a possibility as well. We come to this next card, which is the Nine of Wands, and it refers to the fact that you still feel you've got to keep your guard up, and that you're still being barraged and attacked all the time, and that, you know, you're constantly defending yourself is the appropriate word for that card. It's the card of defense, and it feels as though people are attacking you, just relentlessly attacking you. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're in the wrong, but whatever you say, they seem to have an answer back, and they just push. So that also makes sense. Now that's right and around about the middle of that time period of the sort of 7 weeks that we're looking at as well. So there's still just lots of tension, lots of coming and going from both people to be able to subjectively attack the other, or you know, confront issues or have issues thrown at them that need addressing. We come to these two, and they turned up in her reading, and they've turned up reversed. So the Magician reversed is about making higher and better use of one's power, and it's the reversal, however, can indicate that she's hesitant about making necessary changes in order to use her power in a more spiritual and effective manner. And we think that is the case with Hillary, and we were talking about that a little bit before back here about her spirituality, and she kind of seems really stuck in that whole physical manifestation side of financial, I don't know, connection. It also sort of mentions that there's no reason to not step into what you really want to be and what you are meant to be. She may also be overlooking synchronicities, which could be pointing her in a better, more positive direction, and she could be doubting herself and causing herself problems as a result. And I think she possibly does do that. Receiving the Magician in reverse can indicate a resistance to needed change when it comes to her working life. So again, she could be perhaps needing to make some changes in her political infrastructure, ideas, and the way she puts it across, and perhaps who she deals with. And that might have made her more popular as a potential presidential candidate. Love it when my phone clicks in with kind of weird messages and sounds like that. We come to that last card, the reversed Five of Pentacles. Basically, you could sort of say it has the opposite energetic connection than when it is upright. So it talks about the fact now that you could be coming into a time when you're moving from feeling into not very secure into feeling safer. And it could be because she's realised the time has come to reach out to others, or because she's beginning to see some concrete new prospects, and this could be a good thing for her. In general, the reversed Five of Pentacles says that in the recent past she may feel she's been left out in the cold, and that everything was kind of in the shade and not quite right, but her confidence could be beginning to reappear. So Hillary's, and that's just so strange that hers, those last two cards, were the opposite or the reversal of the two that he had in his reading at the beginning. So there's some really strange synergy or synchronistic energy, especially going on between the two of them, and perhaps the events that are going to occur over the next 6 weeks or so. So just one final card then for her, and to see what it might show or tell us. Perhaps I should check to see whether I have the deck the right way. I do. Okay. The Emperor. That is a card of success. Like he is like a leader, a big leader, potentially a big political leader. He is like someone who could crown you or could show you accolades, and oftentimes he represents the energy of Aries, or the month or the time of the year of Aries, which is around March or April. I'm not sure when your presidents in America are finally actually spoken in or signed in, but possibly whether or not it's in that time frame, that's a possibility that might occur as well. But he is a good, successful, sturdy, structured, definitely in that legal, political type of solid realm. So there you are, guys. There's just a brief overall of the two of their energetic cycles that are around them for the next few weeks until the election coming up. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Be safe, be happy. Namaste.